According to rumors, Quinnen Williams is available for trade by the New York Jets, and the question of the day is, can the Minnesota Vikings afford that trade? Complicated answer, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that answer in a minute. First, let's talk about Quinnen Williams. Who is he? What does he do? Quinnen Williams was a former first-round number 3 overall pick in 2019 by the New York Jets, currently still on that very attractive rookie deal, $675,000 salary. Fills a position of need for the Vikings. Remember, this interior defensive line is pretty terrible. I don't know what this organization sees in Shamar Stevens at all. But he plays defensive tackle, a very integral part of the run defense. PFF grade is 69.9, nice, which ranks 47th among defensive tackles since 2019. Now, he's only been in the league for 2 years. First season, 2019, 2.5 sacks, 28 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, and that's only in, I believe it was 9 games. So in 2020 so far, they've played 7, 3 sacks, 28 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits. He's already matched his most of his numbers, or come close to most of his numbers, in 2 fewer games compared to a year ago. So there is some improvement showing here. Now, the original rumor came about today from New York tabloid, New York Daily News, according to sources, that Quinnen Williams was being shopped before the November 4th trade deadline. Since that report has come out, New York Jets beat writer Rich Cimini, I think I'm pronouncing that right, has said no, according to his leak sources, Quinnen Williams is not on the trading block. So we have some conflicting information here. And I'm more willing to go, this is where my journalism background comes in, I'm more willing to go with the beat reporter who is close to the team versus a New York City tabloid, which, yeah, that's kind of hard to sort of instill your trust in that situation. But I'm not writing it off completely, because I believe every team has a price for every single player, unless your name is Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees or something of the sort. Everyone else, there is no offer that is too bad for them to consider. So if they are definitely picking up the phone and at least listening, there is a greater than 0 chance that Quinnen Williams could be on the trading block. But for right now, it looks like the dreams are dead. But still, we're going to entertain this idea. So should the New York Jets trade Quinnen Williams? If I'm a New York Jets fan, hell no. I don't want this guy leaving my team. Number of reasons we've already talked about. He's on the cheap rookie contract. That's really attractive when you're trying to build a team that is currently 0-7. And you need to spend money at other positions. Remember, the rest of this roster is pretty horrible. Outside of him, Mekhi Becton, Sam Darnold, and Jamison Crowder, I would really keep none of them. I would probably keep Denzel Mims just because he hasn't played all that much and it's his first year. Just about everybody else, I think, is expendable. And, I don't follow the New York Jets a lot. I'm sure Jets fans will be able to counter that. Well, with what about this guy? What about this guy? Listen, it's not my team. I don't know the ins and outs of every single player that you got on that roster. But from an outsider's perspective, at 0-7, given the fact that Adam Gase continuously ruins everything he touches, I stand pretty strong behind the opinion that if it was my team, I would gut everything except for Mekhi Becton, Quinnen Williams, Sam Darnold, Jamison Crowder, and Denzel Mims. Everything else would be on the table. The other reason would be that they still have they're in a position right now where they have pretty good draft capital, right? Because you're already the owner of the first overall pick in the draft, unless you accidentally win a few games. And, that's always within the realm of possibility that they're going to accidentally win 1 or 2. But this team is pretty horrible, so it looks like that they could definitely walk away with the first overall pick and the rights to draft Trevor Lawrence in 2021. You also have the Seahawks first-round pick that came over from the Jamal Adams trade. So you got a pretty decent war chest for next year to rebuild this team. Now, could you always use more draft picks? Yeah, sure. Everybody wants to have a ton of draft picks. The Vikings had 15 last year. The Browns consistently have a lot. It just depends on what your approach is to the draft. But is it a necessity to go out and get more? No, not really. There's no emergency or urgent feeling or urgent need to man, we don't have enough draft capital to rebuild this team. We got to get some more. So it's more of a luxury at this point. Also, as we said, he's showing improvement. Stats have improved in less than 2 games fewer compared to the season before. Should the Vikings trade for Quinnen Williams? That's the big question. Yes, with a caveat. So again, cheap rookie contract. That's very attractive. After the Ngakoue trade, we now have $5 million in cap space. Definitely affordable. There's time to figure out between now and when he would need to resign, if we could afford that. But for the moment, he would be, well with under the affordability that we currently possess. He's a huge position of need. The interior of this defensive line is trash. It absolutely needs to be addressed. It was supposed to be anchored by Michael Pierce this year, who of course opted out at the beginning of the season. And we're definitely looking at someone in the draft in the first round. If it's not a quarterback, likely I think it's going to be Christian Barmore or Marvin Wilson. So it just depends on how all that goes. I have to fix that real quick. So yeah, the interior defensive line, huge hole at the 3-tech position. The caveat is that the price has to be right, because this is a team that, whether they want to admit it or not, is going to be rebuilding. They need draft picks, so we can't really afford to separate ourselves from that first-round pick that we have, which according to Tankathon is currently 6th overall. We don't have a second-round pick to give up. We do have 2/3. We could probably, dip into the 2022 draft capital, which, we have a conditional 5th if the Ngakwe situation holds with the Ravens. So there's ways you could dance into this, but that first-round pick that we currently possess for next season has to be off the table, and I think we really have to be careful how much draft capital we give away. If it's just like a 3rd and a 4th or something like that, yeah, maybe they can swing it, because it is a huge position of need, and he would still be on his rookie contract. The problem that is going to happen is that everybody else in the league is going to want this guy, right? So it's going to drive the price way up. So I think we're probably going to get priced out of this market with this player. So that is the situation as it is. We'll see if anything changes. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.